Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for watching another video from Reload Hawaii. Brada Kimo here, and tonight we're going to be revisiting the Colt versus Tisas 1911 video. So I had a lot of great suggestions on how to make that video better. The number one suggestion being giving the Colt the same trigger job as the Tisas. So if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave a link on the bottom or somewhere over here so you can see how that's done. And if you haven't seen the first video, I'll also leave that link on the bottom or somewhere over here as well. So let's see, with those improvements and suggestions, how the Colt did in part D. Alright, one of the more requested things is people wanted to see more close-up shots of the Tisas. So I figured I'd try to demonstrate two things at once. Number one, yes, give you more close-up shots. But number two, show you that the tolerances between these two are so close that you can swap the parts out. So what you're looking at right here is the Tisas slide on the Colt frame. You can see a couple things here. The difference in the parkerizing versus the bluing on the Colt. I used all of the bottom parts from the Colt to put the Tisas slide on, and look, it locks back just fine. I'm going to, return the slide to its forward position and demonstrate here. I'm going to drop a pen in the barrel, yank on the trigger. You're going to see the hammer fall. The firing pin is going to go forward. Everything is fine. So there you go. That stuff works. We're going to switch them around, but you can see it works. Now, I don't know how accurate it's going to be because I didn't think of this idea until the ending of the video, so I don't have any proof to how accurate it's going to be. But there you go. Now you got the Colt slide on the Tisas frame. Again, here using the Tisas bottom parts to put the Colt slide on it. And again, another great example of how you can see the bluing on the slide for the Colt versus the parkerizing on the Tisas. And that accounts for, I would think, a large difference in the pricing from $350 for the Tisas to up to $650 to $700 on the Colt. I don't know if it's worth that much, but just again, showing you the tolerances are so good. Tisas is not putting out garbage here, guys. It works fantastic. Let me yank this trigger. Yeah, there you go, works just fine. Next coming slides, people also wanted to see, a request was to show more of the internals. Here, the Colt parts are on the top, Tisas stuff at the bottom. This is a friend's Tisas parts that I'm trying to polish up for him. This is what it looks like. I forgot to show this in the first video, but you can see there, the Tisas parts on the bottom are actually parkerized. So they're not just throwing parts in there. Really hard to clean up, by the way, man. Next up, people also wanted to see measurements. So I took my caliper, going to measure some stuff here. You can see the Colt barrel on the left is a lot more squared off than the Tisas barrel on the right. And again, for these coming slides, the Colt stuff's on the left, Tisas is on the right. You guys can go back and geek out and check out these measurements, but they're pretty similar. Here's an up close and personal look at both slides. So we'll go Colt slide first, Tisas slide second, and then we'll go Colt frame and then Tisas frame. But there you go. Another great shot of the bluing. Very well done. I will say the only difference I've seen on here is, yes, the sights are different on these, right? You got the 3-dot system on this versus the Colt that just got the bladed GI front sights. I think I like the bladed sights front. I think I like the bladed front sights more. For me, I can still see them, and it really lets me get that blade more on target. But you're going to notice that the lugs on the Colt here are not as machined. So when you flip this guy over, here's a parkerizing. And the parkerizing here is well done. It's not like somebody took a spray can and decided to spray paint can it. It's good stuff. It's even all the way around. It's nice and thick. And here you can see on the inside, the locking lugs of the Tisas, they got machining marks in them where the Colt didn't. So you're going to see some areas that are different. And that's a little bit of a price difference there too, because the locking lugs are, a point of contact where accuracy does count. Here you can see the front end is thinner than the Colt. So you're going to notice that if you go back to the previous slides where you can see the measurements, the Colt is a lot thicker. And that's a theme you're going to see here, is a lot of parts on the Tisas are thinner, but it gains heft in other places, which is kind of true for both. So you see right here, the frame where the magwell is, it's thicker when you compare it to the Tisas area that we'll see a little bit later on. But another area that you got to look out for is when we go over how much things weigh, because that's another request somebody had, was they wanted to see how much each individual part weighs. And I was like, okay, I'm going to take it apart anyway, so I'm also weigh it. The Colt gives you a plastic mainspring housing, and the Tisas gives you a full metal mainspring housing. Who would have thought? I mean, I don't care, but that just goes to show you again that Tisas isn't just putting out garbage. They're putting some thought into what they do. Here you go. Here's another thing. You got plastic grips on the Tisas. And what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to find ways to add up the $350 to equal the $650, you know, for the Colt outside of the name. Okay, so I got the bluing on the Colt. I got a little bit better machining here on the front strap of the Tisas. As I swing it around here, there you go. You can see that it's a little bit, you know, the ridges on there where the Colt front strap was nice and smooth. So you got some, it's nice and smooth. So there, all right. So I will say in certain areas the Colt has better machining, but is it worth $350 more? I don't know. To me, it's not. To me, it's not. Now, let's check out some weight here. So we're gonna again run through these. The Colt stuff's on the left, Tisas on the right. There you go. Barrel, guide rod springs, yeah, caps, barrel lugs. We're gonna run through it real quick. But again, you know, maybe that's why Colt's in trouble, right? They lost their contract for the military, went to FN. You know, maybe they should have lowered the prices of their 1911s, knowing that they weren't that high quality that they were asking for. Maybe they should have made it 500, maybe 450. I don't know. Chapter 11 bankruptcy. That's where they're at right now. They're trying to get make some money on a short sale. There's your hammer and hammer strut. Where is that mainspring housing? I think it's coming up here. Oh, there it is. So you go like 2.2 ounces versus 0.06 ounces. So there you go. You know, that's a big difference there. Okay, coming up are the rests, because people were saying, hey, you should really shoot off of a rest if you want to do accuracy. I'm like, okay, that's a good idea. So those are the rests. I tried to shoot off of bean bags. I hate shooting off rests. Those are the trigger pull results for the first video. So the Colt trigger was 5.58 pounds, 5.5 pounds, 5.9 pounds. So here is the Colt now after the trigger job. Again, you guys got to check out that video. It's pretty cool how you can reduce the trigger pull amount on a Series 80 1911. So right now it's about 4.1 pounds, 4.2 pounds. Just to make it fair, here's what the Tisas came in at. Right around 4.1, 4.2. So how I did the accuracy test was I used that rest, and for the final shots, this is what I did. I put 2 targets up, I shot 10, then I shot 5, and then I put the Tisas up and I shot 10, and then I shot 5 right next to each other. But for the video, I'll show you the 2 10 shots back to back like this. So again, Colt on the left, Tisas on the right, and then here's the 5 shot, Colt on the left, Tisas on the right. Amazing $350 1911 from Turkey. Yikes. Okay? I don't know what to say. I gave the Colt a fair shot. The Springfield I gave a fair shot to. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. The Springfield video, the results were the same. You know? That's all I got to say about that. Guys, that's the ending of the review. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. And if you liked the video, give me the thumbs up. And as always, I will catch you later.